What is going on, YouTube? So coming back today with a video where I'm moving over into the NFL, and today I wanted to talk about who I think will be the most improved NFL team in 2016. Now, keep this in mind. This is just for this year. This is not long-term. Long-term, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a very hard team not to choose. However, I don't think they're quite going to be there yet this year. So, I know I'm going to go with a pretty mainstream answer here, but I'm going to say the Oakland Raiders. I think it's like Raiders fans, they're Raiders fans, so for a long time they've hyped them up to a very high degree, but this really feels like the first year in a while that they're ready to make a run at it. You know, the Broncos aren't going to be as good on offense, in my opinion. They even lost some pieces on defense, so the defense will probably be as good, which, doesn't take anything away from them. They were a very good defense last year. You look at the other teams in the AFC West, San Diego Chargers, Oakland Raiders will be better than them in my mind. And then the Kansas City Chiefs, who obviously the Broncos are going to be competition, but the Chiefs might be some of the even better competition this year, depending on how the Broncos offense turns out. So, why do I think the Raiders are going to be good this year? Let's start from the top down. Derek Carr, in my mind, one of the most underrated quarterbacks, underrated young quarterbacks. I'm not talking about like Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson, those types. Those aren't underrated. I'm talking like Blake Bortles, Derek Carr, those types. I think those are two of the most underrated quarterbacks just as a whole in the NFL. Blake Bortles literally broke franchise records last year, and it went highly unnoticed. So, talking about the running back spot, and maybe at this point, the worst spot on the Raiders offense. Now, here's my thing with the running back spot. I feel like Latavius Murray is a talented back, and honestly, fantasy-wise, he was on my fantasy team last year, had a pretty good season for me. Yards per carry, I know, is an issue. Coaching staff trust is an issue. They did improve the offensive line this year. Honestly, sounds like a pretty good offensive line now. They added right guard Kelechi Osemele from the Baltimore Ravens, just a fantastic move in my mind. And wide receiver, man, they're good. Michael Crabtree had a decent year last year. That's not even the best part of their offense. They got a future star in Amari Cooper. Clive Walford, we'll see what he can do at the tight end spot. A guy that's considered a little bit of a sleeper out of Miami. But again, we'll see what happens. And that's not even the best part of their team. That's the defensive side of the ball. Man, they got talent everywhere. The defensive end spot, Mario Edwards, last year had a great year. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The opposite defensive end spot, one of the best players in the NFL, in Khalil Mack. Everyone knows how good he is. In my mind, they got a future star in a guy named Ben Heaney. I'm assuming you know who he is if you're a Raiders fan or if you pay attention to football anyway. But the kid was an animal while he was at University of Kansas. He was at University of Kansas, so he didn't get that much exposure. I do remember watching him, though, and kind of being that lone bright spot, kind of like the position that Fish Smithson's in now. Again, another very talented player on a very mediocre, not even mediocre, very bad Kansas team. Look at the rest of the linebacker spots, though. Malcolm Smith, talented linebacker. Sean Smith, talented linebacker. Bruce Irvin, pick him from Seattle, talented linebacker. Move over to the safety spot. Reggie Nelson, signed him, talented safety. I'm sure that the Bengals wanted to hang on to him, but the Bengals had a lot of pieces they had to hang on to this offseason on the defensive side of the ball. Some had to go, some could stay. They had salary cap issues, I'm pretty sure. And then Carl Joseph. Do I think he was drafted maybe a little bit too high? Yeah. Is he an absolute animal at safety? For sure. Again, long-term health. When someone blows out their knee like that, that's scary, especially for a senior year. But you saw what happened to that West Virginia defense after he went down last year. They were still good, but man, they had this fighting animal spirit to them while he was there that, I feel like can spark even an NFL defense. But again, we'll see. He hasn't played an NFL game yet. Now, do I think that the Raiders will make the playoffs this year? And remember, keep in mind, this is just my opinion. Everyone else is going to have their own opinion about this. My answer is yes. One of the tough parts about their schedule is when they go over and play in the NFC. It's not going to be easy. in my opinion, then again, in my opinion, I don't really know if there is an NFC division to be easy, maybe besides the West. I mean, at this point, the NFC West just isn't very good. Cardinals are obviously good, but who knows what direction the Seahawks are trending in. It doesn't look like a good one. But anyway, you look up and down their schedule, man. It's not that bad. I mean, let's see. They start out with the Falcons at home. Winnable game. Or no, they start out with the Saints on the road. Again, winnable game. See what the Saints team turns out this year, though. Probably good offense, bad defense. It's just kind of the way it's gone. Tennessee Titans, still not there yet. Baltimore Ravens, probably going to be better. That's going to be a tough game. But San Diego Chargers at home, that should be an easy one. Kansas City Chiefs, that's a toss-up. But I feel like that's the sort of games they can win this year. Jacksonville Jaguars on the road, that's a win in my mind. Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road, that's a win in my mind. Denver Broncos. Again, it's going to be the Broncos at home, Chiefs at home, those type of games that they're probably going to split. But, Texans at home, I feel like that's winnable. Panthers at home, tough. But, man, the schedule, especially at the beginning of the season, lines up well for me. I think this is a Raiders team that can go about 10-6 this year, get into the playoffs, and finally start making some noise that shows that, we're here for the long term. They got so many young, good players in place that they're ready to go. And again, when you look up and down in the NFL schedule, it's not really going to be that easy. Maybe except for the Colts this year, they got a pretty friendly one. Alright, so that pretty much does it for this video. Like I said, this is just my opinion on who will be the most improved team in the NFL this year. There's a couple other great choices. In my mind, the Buccaneers are going to be a lot better. The Jaguars are going to be a lot better. The Giants can be a lot better. There's one that I'm just completely missing in my mind that can be a lot better. And then, yeah. I can't think about it right now. Baltimore Ravens are going to be a lot better. So, it's just probably going to happen. They were missing a lot of their defense, or a lot of their team last year. They got ate up to injuries. But anyway, that pretty much does it. Like I said, fun video to do. And, I'll just be continuing this trend of, worst, most improved teams over the next couple weeks, just making videos here and there about each league that's starting their season pretty soon. But that's pretty much it. So, yeah.